AARP name, Oak Street Health.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
Next at noon, early voting now underway in Chicago. We'll tell you where you can visit to cast your ballot.
Plus, ICE operations in Minnesota coming to an end. We'll hear from Border Czar Tom Homan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Sylvia Perez.
And I'm Natalie Bobke, and we want to take you right back outside to check the conditions out there. Most of the snow has melted off, and I think that's going to continue, Sylvia.
We're going to see a little sun. Is the sun going to come out?
Well, it is very cloudy now, yes, but we have a clearing trend. The very northern portions of Chicagoland starting to see those clouds break apart. Unfortunately, though, we are socked in with the clouds in the city, and it is quite gray, but the temperatures are above freezing, so we'll take it. Right now, it's 35 degrees at O'Hare, 36 at the lakefront, 37 in Gary, as well as Kankakee. Temperatures in the low 40s, really only for LaSalle County. Right now, it is 41 at LaSalle. Highs today are going to be hovering around the low 40s, but our day planner has around 38 degrees by 4, and as you can see, a peak more sunshine compared to what we have as we head into early afternoon. By this evening, it's still quite comfortable, 7 p.m., and we are around freezing, if not just above, but the temperatures are going up from here. In fact, we're going to be in the 50s to end the week, and that'll carry us through the weekend and into next week. So our 3-day outlook tomorrow, beautiful conditions, dry skies, sunshine, 50 degrees. 51 on Saturday. Sunday is going to be in the 50s as well. We don't have the opportunity for rain in the city until early next week, Tuesday into Wednesday. I'll show you that on your full forecast ahead.
Caitlin, thank you. Election season is already here. Early voting in Chicago kicked off this morning, and this is all leading up to the March primary.
Saquon is live at the brand new super site at State and Adams with some things that we should all know before we go. Say?
Hey, we are obviously here at the super site location right now. We've seen some people coming on in here. Doors opened up at around 9 o'clock this morning. Obviously, it's been a few hours since. And we did see plenty of people walking in as soon as it hit 9 o'clock this morning. Of course, this new super site does replace the old and the original super site location, which was on Clark and Lake. Now, if you are wanting to vote early today, you can still come on out here to the new super site, or you can go to the county administration building on Washington. That also just opened up today. And then in just a little less than a month here, guys, on March 2nd, we know early voting will also open up at sites in all 50 wards. Any voter who lives in Chicago can cast a ballot at any of the early voting sites available, no matter where they live in the city. We did ask the first few people who voted early this morning why showing up today was a priority for them.
You know, every election is a meaningful election. I think that, you know, there's some... These are interesting times, and so for me it was important to get out first thing in the morning and let my voice be heard.
I wanted to show up. This is about future generations. This is not about me. It's about things that's going on in Congress and the Senate and everything. It's important to show up and lead the way, to show the young people what they need to do. We don't all have to accept anything. We have a power collectively as individuals. We can show up for one another, solidarity.
Well, if you are looking to vote by mail, you can still request one right now. The deadline to apply for those is March 12th at 5 p.m. We heard from the chairwoman today who was saying that the team has already started sending out over 150,000 mail-in ballots. She also encouraged voters to get those mail-in ballots as soon as possible, especially because the U.S. Postal Service announced they will no longer be able to guarantee that your ballot is postmarked on the same day that it actually gets mailed out. So that's just some helpful advice, of course, for anyone who plans on voting by mail. We also know early voting underway here all day today here in downtown Chicago ahead of the Illinois primary set for March 17th. Back to you.
Say, we know you talked to election officials there. Did they address their plans to combat maybe voter intimidation or security and safety concerns?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we heard from Chairwoman Maricel Hernandez this morning, and that was one of the questions that was asked by reporters today. It's important to provide some context as to why this question was asked in the first place. We have heard from the president in recent weeks talking about his plans and how he has wanted to lay the groundwork there for ICE agents, immigration officials to be put outside of polling places. But with that in mind, also, we have heard about the Save America Act at this point. That is the bill that just passed the House, is on its way to the Senate currently as we speak. That was also backed by the president himself. And basically that bill would require any voter who is showing up to vote at a polling place to show proof of citizenship, but it also limits the number of people who would be able to vote by mail. Unless you fall under that category of, living with an illness or maybe a disability, you would no longer be able to vote by mail if this bill really does pass. Now, we heard from, again, Chairwoman Hernandez this morning, and she was very adamant about the fact that they will make sure that all of their voters are safe and protected. Listen.
I've been working on it since early October to make sure our voters are safe and that they are free from intimidation and threats. And let me say that every voter has the right to register to vote and then vote free of intimidation, threats, and coercion.
Yes, so I just want to make it clear, too, that once again, the president has not announced any sort of formal plans to put those ICE agents outside of polling places. But, of course, that is something that we'll stay on top of. Guys?
Okay, say very quickly then. So this is a brand new state-of-the-art location. So it's replacing the one that a lot of people have been using over at State, correct?
Correct. Yeah, this is the first day that people were actually able to check out the super site themselves. In fact, one of the first voters we talked to said they accidentally went to the other location on Clark and Lake, but this is the location now. Okay. Exactly. Yes.
Okay, good to confirm that. Thanks, Say. The Southwest Metro line is back up and running.
Unbelievably, crews worked through the night to clear the tracks after a freight train derailed yesterday near Chicago Ridge.
Air Fox flew over the intersection where CSX and Metro trains intersect. The tracks were clear and some of the derailed cars had been moved to an open lot nearby. Southwest service was halted yesterday after 10 cars from that freight train left the tracks between Ridgeland and Central. Some Metro riders at the Chicago Ridge station were surprised at just how quickly the tracks were cleared, but still have questions.
I thought, how could that happen?
Were you a little nervous they'd be back on track today?
Yes, I was.
It was a big freight, a heavy freight. I mean, I really don't know what happened with that one. So, with that derailment. So it makes me nervous, but, I don't think it's happened. I've only been on this line about 2 years, so this is the first major thing that ever I got affected by.
Right. We still have not received any word on what caused that derailment.
The intense federal immigration surge in Minnesota is officially coming to a close. Following a meeting with President Trump, Border Czar Tom Homan confirmed this morning about 2,000 additional agents deployed to the state will begin a full withdrawal through next week.
I appreciate the support the governor gives to state agencies who coordinate with us in a manner intended to promote public safety. And I appreciate the AG having an open dialogue with me.
The decision follows months of heightened tension and public outcry after 2 fatal shootings involving federal agents earlier this year.
Let's take a live look at the nation's capital, where lawmakers are trying to beat another looming deadline to avoid yet another partial shutdown. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security is set to expire tomorrow.
Democrats and Republicans still divided over immigration enforcement.
And some lawmakers say a deal is possible, but they admit negotiators must work through their disagreements.
Do I think the parties are on a path that could culminate in a deal? Yes. Will they need more time to get there? Absolutely.
Democrats for now appear prepared to shut down the agency if significant reforms are not made to ICE and Border Patrol. Republicans, though, say Democrats' demands are a wish list of non-starters, and they point out that ICE has already been fully funded through the year 2029.
They got to get rid of the masks. They don't need to be dressed like tactical operators in Fallujah. Should be wearing name tags. Use of force, criteria that they have, their standard operating procedures needs to be overhauled as well.
If their policies were enacted, we would just have open borders, we'd have open, unimpeded immigration, and that is not what the American people voted for.
A test vote scheduled for today could give an indication on how likely a government shutdown actually is.
More to come here on Fox 32 News at noon.
The IRS shares thousands of taxpayer info with the Department of Homeland Security, what it was used for.
And Amazon deliveries by drone are coming to the south suburbs. We're going to let you know when that program is expected to begin.
Content of this ad.
Welcome back. It's 12:12. A resolution to end President Trump's tariffs on Canada is headed to the Senate for a vote. The joint resolution passed the House with 219 yeas and 211 nays last night. This is a rare pushback against the White House's agenda, and it's important to note, even if the resolution passes, it cannot undo the tariffs without support from the president himself.
After 88 years of presidential approval ratings, Gallup is ending its monthly polling. President Trump has criticized pollsters who report low favorability, but Gallup says that had nothing to do with the decision. Instead, the company says this reflects shifting priorities and research goals. Gallup now plans to provide more polls focusing on issues and policies. Gallup's last presidential approval rating was released in December, with President Trump at 36%.
Thousands of taxpayers' confidential information was improperly shared with the Department of Homeland Security. That's according to a court filing. The agency mistakenly shared immigrant taxpayers' personal information with DHS. It's related to a deal between the two agencies. It allowed the IRS to share information requested by ICE in an effort to deport people in the U.S. illegally. The IRS says the Treasury alerted DHS of this error and asked for the agency's help to correct it.
Well, it's not a bird and it's not a plane. It's a fireball. Did you see this? The American Meteor Society says it received several calls about the bright object. So we asked the director of public observing at Adler Planetarium to explain the name Fireball.
When you have something interacting with Earth's atmosphere, quick streak of light in the sky, something's burning up in our atmosphere. So we call that a meteor. And if something is pretty bright and a little bit bigger than your average run-of-the-mill quick streak of light in the sky called a meteor, we call that a fireball. And so just a more dramatic name for a more dramatic sight in the sky. And so this is something was burning up in our atmosphere. Something came in pretty fast and burned up. And along the way, it lasted long enough that it could be seen over Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky at least. And those are the reports I've seen so far.
I love that. Look at that guy. He's like, what in the world? She says the fireball was spotted around 10:30 p.m. So if you have any sort of doorbell camera, you might want to check it because you've probably got video.
Oh, wow. That's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a live look outside right now as we have overcast skies in hopes that maybe the sun just might break through a little bit a little later. Right, Caitlin?
Clearing trend happening slowly, but yes, main headline, mild temperatures. Secondly, I know we missed the sunshine, but it will be here, especially tomorrow, and temperatures are going to be at around 50 degrees as well. Right now, though, it's lunchtime and it's 35 degrees in the lakefront and O'Hare, 38 in Aurora, low 40s for some. Southwest, I'm talking about LaSalle, you're at 41 degrees. Northwest Indiana, temperatures for you ranging in the mid to upper 30s. It's 34 in Valpo, 37 in Gary. I do see a freezing there in Waukegan. So again, temperatures climbing to the low 40s this afternoon, and the clouds are going to have that trend of clearing. Heading into tonight, it's going to be another chilly night, no surprise, down into the 20s as we start off our Friday, but Friday will be wonderful. Tomorrow, we're going to have the sunny skies, and I just teased how temperatures are going to be pushing to about 50 degrees in the afternoon. Southwest of Chicago, I'm talking about LaSalle County, Grundy County, even into Kankakee, you could be seeing the mid-50s. And then by Friday evening, 6:15, maybe some early Valentine's Day plans Friday evening. Temperatures still comfortable solidly in the mid-40s. This weekend, we're kind of on copy-paste repeat as temperatures push back into the 50s. Saturday as well as on Sunday. Here's your 5-day outlook. Again, normal high 34. So that number is slowly climbing, which is great, but we are surpassing that. This weekend, around 51 degrees expected Saturday, Sunday 52. Starting off next week, Monday at 54 degrees. Then we have the chance for some wet weather working its way into the forecast Tuesday into Wednesday. What about the extended outlook? I'll show you that 10-day forecast coming up.
Thank you, Caitlin. This is like mind-blowing. Amazon is set to bring drone deliveries to the south suburbs this summer. Prime Air will serve customers near fulfillment centers in Markham and Matson, with some packages arriving in just a few hours.
Wow. So joining us now is Josh Brundage. He is with Amazon. Josh, thanks for joining us. You know, we've been talking about this for years, that it was going to happen. It makes sense it's happening in the suburbs first. So explain to us how this is going to work and when will customers actually start seeing these?
Yeah, so currently we're offering this service across in several major metros in the U.S., Phoenix, Detroit, Tampa, Kansas City, a few sites in Texas as well. So excited to expand to the Chicago area. Essentially, we're going to be partnered up with 2 existing Amazon fulfillment centers, one in Markham, one in Matson. And basically, if you live within 8 miles of that building, you're likely eligible for drone delivery. We hope to start late spring, early summer, and basically checkout experience is the same. You go on. If your item that you purchased is drone delivery, that'll show up as an option on your checkout. You'll get a little aerial image of your property with some predetermined delivery points. You select where you want that package dropped off at, and you should have it in less than 2 hours.
What types of items will be eligible for that drone delivery, and does it cost extra?
So items, if it's under 5 pounds, and if it fits inside our box that fits inside the drone, which is essentially a large shoebox size. So a lot of items that Amazon sells fit that profile. You can also have multiple drones. So if multiple items that you order all fit that same profile, you could also get multiple drone deliveries within that same time frame. And for right now, in most markets we're starting out, it is $4.99 for Prime members for drone delivery. And again, that's less than 2 hours from the time you click buy to the time you have the package.
That's amazing. Okay, I want to clarify something. So say I live out there, I'm within that 8-mile radius that you spoke about. Will it actually come to my front door, or do I have to walk a little somewhere to go pick it up?
So we take satellite imagery of the area, and we determine what is the safest and most likely to succeed area to deliver the package. So you'll get a picture of your house. And it'll have predetermined points that you can select. A lot of people choose the backyard, safety reasons, privacy reasons. That's probably our most popular delivery point. But if there's large trees or something else, you may have a point in your front yard or your driveway to deliver to. So, yeah, it may require a couple steps, but we aim to get it to as close to you as possible.
I assume, got a couple questions here for you, Josh. I assume you have meteorologists working for you who are going to determine whether or not the drone delivery is feasible on any given day. And is it possible for this thing to fall out of the sky and hit somebody on the head?
So first question is, we actually monitor weather real time. So actually every time a drone flight is about to take off, it checks if we are within the limits of our operations as far as weather goes. So that is checked countless times throughout the day as we operate. And so we make sure that each time we launch, the weather is acceptable for our flying conditions.
Okay. Well,
on the other note, the answer is no. So absolutely safety is our number one priority and is paramount at Primair. We are an FAA certified carrier. All of our drones are FAA certified pieces of equipment, just like a commercial airplane would be. And we have a tremendous amount of robust safety systems built in to determine when things do happen. But we have lots of contingent backup options and systems to make sure that the safety of our customers and the general public is the most important thing for this entire program.
okay, for those of us who live in the city, what's the likelihood we would see that? I would think dropping off in the city is a little more difficult.
Yeah, it's a little tougher, obviously, with tall buildings and things like that. And so primarily our launches this year were focused on existing Amazon facilities that obviously have a good customer base around them that we can hit within that 8-mile radius. And kind of the major downtown metro areas right now are a little bit out of our scope, but we plan to maximize what we can in some denser suburb areas.
Well, fascinating, Josh. Thanks for joining us. How fun is it going to be to see this and you can just get it like that? We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The green flag will drop on the Daytona 500 this weekend.
So we are taking you live to the action ahead of the big race that's airing right here on Fox. We'll be right back.
We got a lot more fun coming up this morning.
Weekday mornings on Fox Local.
Fox Local, your smart TV source for the Chicago Report. Paris Shuts takes you behind the headlines and beyond the spin.
All right, let me jump in here because there's a legal part of this. Does that raise the concern of corruption?
Weeknights at 10 on Fox Local.
Good Day Chicago won't waste your time. Starting at 4:30. Watch on TV or Fox Local. Weekday mornings on Fox 32 Chicago.
Thousands of fans shifting into high gear ahead of NASCAR season. And this Sunday, a sellout crowd will fill Daytona International Speedway for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500.
And Chelsea Torres is live right now at the International Speedway. Chelsea, thanks for joining us. What does it take to put a race like this on? This is a big deal.
It really is. You know, a lot of fans have been telling me, Sylvia and Natalie, that this truly is the Super Bowl for a lot of NASCAR fans. So already the vibes are very high. It's been electrifying, even just so far days ahead of the big race. But I'll tell you, Daytona 500 is not just a one-day sprint. It truly is a full marathon, not just for the dozens of teams that are racing, but also for the operations crew who do work year-round to stage this Great American Race.
There are things that they have been building and working on for a year, right? Since the day after the Daytona 500 last year, there's about 125 full-time employees that just focus on the racing facility itself, from all of the suites, the grandstands, into the infield.
And that goes for the track too. Experts manicure the pavement daily, and the steep 31-degree banks are designed to keep drivers pushing the gas pedal. But beyond the asphalt itself, Daytona's got doctors, they've got firefighters, an aviation wing, and even meteorologists here on site. So really everything is in place just to make sure that fans only have to worry about the finish line.
You start getting a month out, and you start getting that excitement. Oh man, we're going to Daytona again. And you know, even though you've done it 8 times, it's always exciting to take off and do it again.
We picked right back up where we were this time last year. You spend 4, 5, 6 days together,
and around here you never meet a stranger.
Yes.
You spend all winter long watching football, and then NASCAR comes back to town, and it's race season again.
And every fan I've been talking to has the exact same sentiment. For the 11th year in a row, the Daytona 500 is sold out. So you'll see more than 100,000 fans in and around the super speedway. And also, Sylvia and Natalie, the purse itself is the largest in event history. The winner will walk away with more than $31 million.
Whoa.
Guys, back to you.
I went into the wrong field.
Oh, kidding.
Chelsea,
You'd have been
thank
so
you.
good, too. Thank you, Chelsea.
Overly cautious, though, so that would not have made a good racer.
And we're going to have Kyle Busch live
I
a little bit later.
know.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Sad.
Welcome back. It's 12:30. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following for you this afternoon.
Law enforcement once again searching the area near the home of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. Nancy's been missing nearly for 2 weeks now. Yesterday, investigators found either one black glove or two along a road near her home. So they're trying to figure out if it matches the same pair of gloves worn by a masked person caught on surveillance video from Nancy's front porch. We'll have a live report from Tucson, Arizona on the latest coming up.
Early voting is underway in Chicago. The doors opened at 9 o'clock this morning. There are 2 places in the loop that you can cast your ballot. First, the brand new super site along South State Street and the site at 69 West Washington. Early voting in all 50 Chicago wards begins Monday, March 2nd. Most surrounding Illinois counties begin their early voting February 5th at Cook County Clerk's offices. The primary election, March 17th. Let's find out what you can expect with the forecast today. And Caitlin, as we take a live look out there, let us know how warm or how cold is it?
Well, you know, we're seeing that ice start to melt, which is fantastic. Good. This view looks quite different, doesn't it? The snow is melting. We are in that great thaw here in Chicago, but it is quite cloudy too. So not the brightest view, but spring feel, absolutely. And it's going to get better from here. 50s expected not only tomorrow, but through this weekend and into next week. The warmth continues, and we have minimal rain chances on that 7-day forecast. So let's talk first about that potential for wet weather. Satellite radar showing the clouds in place for Chicagoland. That rain that we were watching this morning still missing us to the southwest, and we even have some snow developing in portions of Wisconsin, but Chicagoland, so far so dry, and that clearing trend is starting to happen from Lake to McHenry to northern DeKalb County. Temperatures, they're feeling good. Right now we're sitting at 36 degrees at the lakefront, 37 in Gary, as well as Merrillville and Chicago Heights. It's 33 at Woodstock, 37 in DeKalb, and 43 at LaSalle. Highs today right around 42, so we're going to be feeling good. And as mentioned, those clouds will start to break apart this afternoon. Tonight, though, we're dropping back down to the 20s, so it's going to be a cold start again tomorrow. Around 27 degrees expected from the lakefront to O'Hare. Some of us in the mid-20s, like Waukegan, down to 25 tonight. But then tomorrow, we're back to about 50. It's going to be a really nice Friday, and we have more sunshine in the forecast. So I keep teasing about how we're continuing the heat this weekend and into next week. Well, here's our temperature outlook. In case you missed it, we are covered in dark red, which indicates at the top of your screen here, you can see warmer than normal temperatures are expected. And the time frame here, this is February 18th through the 22nd. And then we push this date all the way through until the 26th. And we are still leaning warmer than normal. So what I can say is our normal high is in the 30s, and we do expect to be above that. Our 7-day forecast reflects this. 51 degrees expected Saturday, Sunday, right around 52. Notice it's going to be dry this weekend with just a few clouds around. And then next week, we start off with 54 Monday, 55 Tuesday, and then a chance for rain back, but not until Tuesday night into Wednesday. And that's a look at your full forecast.
Dawson's Creek fans are mourning the loss of James Vanderbeek.
Jake's joining us now with the very latest. So young.
Yeah, and you know, he really was one of those artists that if you were in a certain age range, he was formative. I mean, I remember as a kid having a VHS copy of Varsity Blues, and all my buddies coming over because we had to watch Varsity Blues. Yeah, James Vanderbeek died after a battle with stage 3 colorectal cancer. Vanderbeek is, of course, best known for playing Dawson on Dawson's Creek throughout its run 1998 to 2003. And during those years, he also established himself on the big screen with roles in movies like Varsity Blues, Texas Rangers, and The Rules of Attraction. If you've never seen him in Rules of Attraction, he is fantastic. Vanderbeek had been open about his battle with stage 3 cancer, sharing his diagnosis in November of 2024. He became active in raising awareness about a month ago. The actor shared why he was going to be waiting a little bit to celebrate the new year.
The time to celebrate a new beginning and a new you and a new resolution
is in the spring, at the vernal equinox, when the flowers bloom and it gets warmer and the birds return. That's how nature does it. Why are we fighting nature? I mean, all due respect to Pope Gregory VIII, who saddled us with this Gregorian calendar system, but it just makes absolutely no sense. Plus, hear me out on this one. If March is the first month of the year, that means September is the 7th, October the 8th, November the 9th, December the 10th. You see where I'm going with this, right? So I'm going to say, screw it. I'm going to take the winter to recover, to rest, and I'm going to make New Year's resolutions in the spring.
You know, I like that. He had some really interesting points there. Vanderbeek survived by his wife and their 6 children. Wow. He was 48 years old.
So young, huh?
Yeah, but you know, I always say, you know, not that there's ever any kind of a silver lining in a situation like this, but there are a lot of people who are going to put in their old DVDs of Dawson's Creek tonight, or pop in an old VHS of Varsity Blues. And that way, you know, the art lives on, right?
And I have a feeling you're going to be one of them.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. My girlfriend and I were watching Schitt's Creek right now because after Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah,
thanks very much.
Okay, thanks. A NASCAR legend is celebrating a first at this year's Daytona 500.
Number 8, Kyle Busch is joining us live after the break to talk about his mindset heading into the big race. The Daytona 500 is coming up this Sunday as the 68th annual. It'll draw millions of viewers to Fox Network and more than 100,000 fans to the Speedway.
And we're so excited to be speaking with one of the most prominent drivers who happens to be on the pole because he posted the fastest lap in the qualifiers yesterday, and that is Kyle Busch himself. Thanks for joining us and congratulations.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. So I understand this is your 21st start, but your first leading the race. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, we had a great opportunity to come into the season this year with a new crew chief, and everybody from Richard Childress Racing and ECR Racing Engines, they've done a great job over the offseason building some great speed in our race cars. And we've got that Zone Chevrolet qualified up front #1. So, you know, being the first time I've ever been able to do that here, I know 21 years you haven't been able to start first. Well, it's not all about where you start. It's more about where you finish. I haven't won this race yet either.
And I appreciate you continuing to go for the gold here. You know, it has been 21 years, but you finally did it. You were a two-time Cup champion. You've had the most laps led by a driver at Daytona, but you haven't won yet. So how do you feel about your chances this year?
I would say our chances are really strong. You know, being able to have the fastest car, we know exactly where the speed lies, and you know that obviously helps you when you're able to race against all these guys and lead the field to the green. You want to stay up front and lead the rows as fast as you can so nobody can get by you, but it's inevitable. There's going to be some passing, there's going to be some good racing, there's going to be a lot of strategy in the 500 miles that we have on Sunday.
You know, for a lot of people who aren't in the know when it comes to the Daytona 500, you know, we know it's the Super Bowl of racing. But I'm curious because a lot of people are going to watch this online afterwards. They want to hear what Kyle Busch has to say. So what makes this so special for you, and what kind of mindset do you get yourself into when you actually get started on Sunday?
Well, I think anytime you're able to have an opportunity of checking the boxes of being able to accomplish something that you haven't yet accomplished, and being in the sport for 25 years, I would say that that's pretty special. So for us, qualifying first this weekend, sitting on the pole for the Daytona 500, you know, I'm a seasoned veteran, and, you know, one that's been around for a long time. I've pretty much won everything there is to win, but now's the time to be able to go out here in 2026 and win the Daytona 500, the race itself, and put my name in the record books and take home that trophy at the end of the day.
Go Kyle, yeah.
That's right. So you did race here in Chicago for the NASCAR street race. Do you have a preference, a street race or a track race like Daytona?
Yeah, I'm up for anything. You know, we've done all kinds of crazy things the last few years with the NASCAR schedule. We've been everywhere. So this year we get to go race on the Air Force Base out in San Diego. So that's going to be a really exciting race to be a part of as well. And you know, we've obviously Daytona, the Super Bowl of our sport, is right here this weekend. Looking forward to that race. And hey, we'll be back to Chicagoland Speedway just out there in Joliet later this summer.
That's right.
Okay, well, best of luck to you, because I want to rerun this interview on Sunday night or Monday morning and say, oh my gosh, we got to speak to him and he won. So we're counting on you, okay?
You can claim the good luck charm if it happens.
All
right, thank you, Kyle.
Remember Sylvia and Natalie.
That's right. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
You take care.
We'll be right back.
Download today.
The search for Nancy Guthrie is nearly 2 weeks in now. A development this morning, a white tent has apparently been set up outside the front of the home as investigators are gathering new evidence in the case.
Amalia Roy joins us live from Tucson now. And Amalia, has there been any discussion as to why that tent went up, or still pretty closed-lip about it?
Good afternoon. Still pretty close-lipped. Not much information about that specific tent. We do know that both the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI has been working around Nancy Guthrie's home lately and the Catalina foothills, which is the whole neighborhood where she lives. But we're still waiting for more information as to exactly what is going on there right now. I did speak with the Pima County Sheriff's Department this morning about a possible news briefing. There is not one planned at this time.
When you start these investigations at a crime scene like this, you're going to start with the interior of concentric circles. And then when you work your way out, you now found these gloves 1.3 miles from here, south of here. Now what you need to do is say, well, if he discarded those, what else might he have discarded? So now you've got to use that now as your ground, your veritable ground zero, and work out from that. They usually use grid searches for that so that you're not repeating yourself.
About kind of how these searches work, especially because yesterday the FBI, a New York Post reporter, saw an investigator pick up a black glove about 1.5 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house. And this is happening at the same time that both the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department says they're seeing a big spike in calls ever since the FBI released security video from Nancy Guthrie's home. You can see in it an armed person walking up to the door wearing a mask, wearing gloves, but their eyes are still visible. And since that, on Tuesday night, investigators detained and questioned a man named Carlos Palazuelos. After his release, he told Fox News that the deputies had mentioned something about his eyes matching the video. Investigators had also searched his house. The FBI confirmed that Palazuelos was questioned, but said that it was for a variety of reasons, not just from the video. In Tucson, Arizona, Amalia Roy, Fox Chicago.
Amalia, we also understand that agents were seen taking a height chart into the home. Tell us about that.
We are still getting more information as we're trying to find out from these investigators, and as we do get more information, I will update everyone either here or we'll have updates on Fox's website.
Okay, Amalia, thank you so much for your reporting. We know you've been out there for hours this morning. Thanks for keeping us up to date.
We'll be right back.
TV.
The death of actor James Vanderbeek is putting a new spotlight on colorectal cancer as his wife is using the tragedy to raise awareness.
Yeah, Vanderbeek died yesterday at just the age of 48, as Jake was talking to us about. Anita starts today's Chicago Live interviews with Northwestern Medicine and the importance of early detection. Anita?
Yeah, ladies, aside from the obvious tragedy of, losing a great man, a great actor, the next thing that really came to my mind as I was speaking to Jake yesterday, moments after we heard about James Vanderbeek's death, was how often we're starting to hear of people under the age of 50 either being diagnosed or in some cases passing away from colon or colorectal cancer. As you mentioned, James Vanderbeek, just 48 years old. I just got my first colonoscopy last year at the recommended age. That's mid-40s. So are we waiting too late? That question starts to percolate in your mind. Dr. Mulcahy is a professor of hematology and oncology at Northwestern University, Feinberg School of Medicine. She'd be better than us, when our minds are running to answer this. What are your thoughts on that? Should there be a change in the recommended age, given what we're seeing?
Yeah, so this has been a new phenomenon over the past 20 years. We've seen the age of colorectal cancer diagnosed in people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, whereas we used to think it was a disease of people 60 and over. So when we saw it in people 60 years old, we recommended a colonoscopy at 50. We started to see it in younger people. They lowered that age to 45. But I agree that isn't enough. So changing these policies to get colorectal screening approved and standardized for people less than 45 is not an easy thing to do. And I think it's really important that we continue to work, and the work that they're doing in colorectal cancer awareness and the importance of screening is what's needed to get out into the community. Mm-hmm. People need to know that colorectal cancer occurs in people ages 20 to 30. So when primary care physicians or others or people are experiencing any symptoms, it needs to be top of mind, and it generally isn't in that age group.
Yeah, and what are some of those symptoms? And can they mimic other things that maybe people in that age group would pass off as other issues?
Yeah, so symptoms of early stage colorectal cancer, which is when we want to find it. It is a highly curable disease when found at an early stage. And symptoms of early stage colorectal cancer are very minimal. Oftentimes there are no symptoms. That's why we recommend screening colonoscopies, looking for disease before it becomes more advanced. But it could be things like any signs of blood in the stool, abdominal cramping, changes in bowel movements, any sort. When you start getting into things like weight loss and more advanced symptoms, it's often more advanced disease. So the goal is to really identify this when it's at a very early, highly curable stage. And that could be some very subtle symptoms, but things that people need to pay attention to.
Yeah, are there ways to lessen our chances of being diagnosed, or does our family history weigh more heavily when it comes to this?
So family history is important. So it's important to know the family history and to bring that up with your physician. But a lot of the cases that we see in younger people, there is no family history. And there are things like eating a healthy, high fiber, low fat diet, exercise. All of these factors can decrease the risk of colorectal cancer. But when you start seeing it in people who are in their 20s and 30s, it's hard to imagine that those are really the driving factors that are leading to it. There are likely other things that we just haven't recognized yet. We just haven't identified. And some of these things may just be environmental, that we can't change. Whatever is in our soil, that the food is growing in, whatever's in the water. It's hard to know just what these factors are, but certainly you can lower your risk by having a healthy lifestyle, eating a healthy diet, getting exercise. That can improve it, and knowing your family history and communicating that to your physician.
Yeah, is there anything else that we should be aware of, or maybe beginning to do differently now that maybe our antennas are up just a bit hearing about James Vanderbeek's death?
Yeah, I wish there was more we could do. I think the most important thing is to be aware of any changes that people are experiencing. And it's really important for the medical community to be aware of this as well, so they evaluate these symptoms. Somebody who has blood in their stool, they often think of it as people will find another reason for it. And considering colorectal cancer has got to be top of the list.
Well, thank you so much for helping us to raise awareness and what you do on a regular basis to improve and save lives. Thanks. Wonderful chatting with you today.
Thank you. Thank you for raising this important topic. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And everybody, plenty of great conversations to come here today on Chicago Live. A really interesting one about an environmentally friendly alternative to burial and cremation. That is gaining popularity for families across the country, and now it's being expanded here into Illinois. So we'll get some more information about that. We're also going to talk about a new effort to launch an alternative to detention programs for youth that may have ended up in some trouble, but, you know, trying to change their lives around while they have time. And one of the biggest topics many cities are grappling with, we're going to talk about as well. I'm going to be speaking with the Director of Sustainability for Aurora ahead of their data center open house tonight. They're going to hear lots of opinions, lots of feedback tonight as they're opening this up to residents. So we'll chat about that as well. I'll see everyone online between 1 and 4 p.m. for another day of Chicago Live. Catch us on YouTube, Fox Local, or fox32chicago.com. After this break, Natalie and Sylvia will be right back.
Fox 32 Chicago.
Let's take that.